Vikas, sir,
Yes, ma'am.
we need to remind Madam
Yes,
to join. Madam is
I,
here already.
yes. I've just talked to her.
Okay, she is joining. Okay, okay, sir. Vikas, sir,
Yes, ma'am. Uh,
is there a problem? Like,
no, no, ma'am is here. Ma'am is here. Hello.
okay, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am. Um, sir, I think so. We can start with our introductory video.
Good evening.
Till ma'am gets ready.
We have a meeting. We are having meeting. Hello.
Sir, you're audible.
Good evening, ma'am. Uh, we are very much pleased to invite you as a speaker to our university, and I hope it will be beneficial for our student as well as UG, PG, and faculties. So, let's briefly introduce you to our university and its different faculties. So, it's here. Hello, am I audible? Hello.
Hello. Yes.
Yeah, so this was basically a brief tour to our university, to our distinguished speaker. Now I will brief about our speaker. She has received her PhD from IEST Shivpur and completed her masters from the WBT, basically West Bengal Technical University. She is currently working as an assistant professor in NIT Patna from last 7 years, and now uh, the research area that includes she is working in various research area that includes wireless ad hoc networks, wireless sensor networks, intrusion detection system, cyber security, blockchain, sustainable algorithms, etc. Now, she has also published more than 20 papers in reputed journal and conference papers. Um, this was about our speaker. Now I will hand over the screen to Dr. Ditipriya Sinha. Hello, ma'am.
Yes, yes, yes.
Ma'am,
Yes,
now you may start your presentation, ma'am.
yes. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Now I'm sharing my screen. Okay. Uh, hello, hello.
Yes, ma'am. You are audible, ma'am.
Yes.
మళ్ళీ ఇంటర్న్షిప్ ఇచ్చి 6 మంత్స్ తర్వాత అప్పుడు చూద్దామంటే అలాగ అవ్వదు కుదరదు ఎందుకంటే వాళ్ళకి ఏంటంటే ఈ నుంచి చేసి ఆ ఇంటర్న్షిప్ లో ప్రాజెక్ట్ ఆ ప్రాజెక్ట్ సంబంధించి చేంజెస్ కూడా వదిలేస్తున్నాడు అది ఏదో తెలియదు మాధురి మ్యామ్ అసలు ఈ టైంలో ఇంటర్న్షిప్ పెట్టాలి తెలుసా మాధురి మ్యామ్ ఫోర్త్ ఇయర్ బీటెక్ వెళ్ళాలి ఎందుకు అప్పుడు ఓకే మ్యామ్ యూ మే కంటిన్యూ do we need to take a peek? Okay, sir. Oh, thank you, sir. Ma'am, now you may continue.
Okay. Just I'm sharing my PPT. Mhm.
Hello. Actually, there is having some technical issue on her side, so bear with us. She will shortly join the meeting.
Hello. 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 Am I audible now?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
So can I start?
Yes, sure, ma'am.
Hello, can I start?
Yes, ma'am. Hello.
Yes, yes. Am I audible now?
Yeah, yeah, yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Can I start? So myself, Dr. Ditipriya Sinha from CSE Department of NIT Patna. So today I am going to give you the brief idea of blockchain technology in emerging trends of blockchain technology. So before that, I have just give you some just little bit idea of security and why we need the security. So I think the most of the audience are the students from BTech and MTech. So my PPT is designed on the basis of that. That is that the students can be able to understand the basic concept of blockchain. After that, I will give some my research papers, the idea that how you implement the blockchain technology in different areas. So first thing is the what is security? Security means that uh, freedom, our freedom from the freedom the system from any risks or dangerous activities. It means that your system is like that is not accessible by any unwanted authority. Okay, so if your system is that any type of threats are not damage your system, then you say that your system is secure. Okay, security are different type of such as physical security, personal security, operational security. Suppose personal security means that your addresses, your ID proof, if these things are hacked, then your personal security will be damaged. Okay, operational security means that suppose you are doing the particular operations, that operation details of that operations will be hacked by the hacker, then your personal security will be hampered. Physical security means that the physical objects, those though that object is not protected by you, that are hacked by access by another. Communication security means that during the time of communications, the middleman is coming and here your communication, then your communication security will be hacked. And network security means that is your network components and the connecting devices and a content which is transferred from sender to receiver. Anything will be hacked, then we call the network security will be hacked. And now comes to the term information security. Information security means that protect your informations and its critical element. This means that hardware element, storage element that will be hacked, then it is called the information security will be damaged. So among the information security, it contains with the hardware which you have used, software, your data, your database, the procedure or protocols which you have used, all are the components of the information. And if that is hacked, then your information security will be damaged. So, so now, so there are two things that is we have concept. One is the vulnerability, another one is the threat. Vulnerability means that the it is the find the if your attacker find the weakness of your system. Weakness of your system is that which part of your system has some loopholes. Okay, that which part of your system is the attack prone. So finding that thing is called finding the vulnerability part of your system. And threat means attacker attack the system through this vulnerable point. Okay, then we call the system will be hacked or attacked. Okay, so threat and vulnerability makes a pair, and it combinedly attack a system or make your system insecure. Now, so one of the network is a distributed network. Distributed network or the decentralized network. What is decentralized network? Decentralized network means that the network where there is no central authority is present. All the nodes have the equal priority. Any node can act as a leader at any moment. There is no particular leader in that node. In this decentralized type of system, though they are highly vulnerable, because in this type of system the restriction is very less, because there is no central authority to monitor the system. So anytime any vulnerable node enters the system, and and they hampers the system. So for this type of system, to make a system secure, the blockchain technology concept is coming. So it works like a distributed ledger. So what is the structure of a block in the blockchain? Structure of a block in the blockchain is that it contains with the each block has the data part. Data part means the data which it wants to store. Okay, it is like a transaction. Okay, ledger. We call the blockchain as a works as a distributed ledger. So in the ledger, we know that we store the day-wise transactions. This blockchain also store the transactions, and these transactions are called here the data. Okay. Now, another part is the hash part. This hash part is the hash of the data will be stored here. Okay. This is the hash of the and this block. Another part is the hash of the previous block. So if we check that the data, okay, now next part is the hash of the data, and the third part is the hash of the previous data. Now this way it creates a chain. You can see that both in this figure we mentioned the three blocks. Okay, block number 1, block number 2, and block number 3. Okay, so first block in the blockchain is called the Genesis block. Okay, this block is called the Genesis block. Now, the data which is stored, the hash value of this data is, suppose the hash value of the first block is the data of the first block is 1Z8F. What is hash? I am discussing you later. Now, this block is the first block in this blockchain, because this blockchain contains with the 3 blocks. Now, this is the first blocks of the blockchain. So, previous hash value of this blockchain is the 00, and we call it is the Genesis block. Now, this block is connected with the next block. In the next block, the hash value of the next block is stored here. Okay, data is here, and the hash value of this block is 6VQ1, and this block is connected with the previous block through the hash value of 1Z8F, because 1Z8F is the hash of block number 1. So block number 1 hash is acts as a previous block hash of block number 2. Okay, the same thing, block number 3 is also has the same thing. Block number 3 has the hash value, suppose 3H4Q. Now block number 3 is connected with the block number 2 with the hash value of 6VQ1. So this way it will form a chain. The simple hash of block 1 is acts as a previous block's hash of the block 2, and hash of block 2 is act as a previous block hash of block 3, and this way they form the blockchain. Okay, so here say that the first block where the hash previous block's hash value is 0 is called the genesis block. Now, why the blockchain is highly secured and why it is the main property of the blockchain? For that reason, it is so much popular. Suppose some data is tempered in the block 2. Okay. If any data of block 2 is tampered, the hash of that block will be changed. The small changes is occurred, then the corresponding hash value is totally changed. If the hash value is totally changed, then this block number 2 here, as an example here you see, is totally disconnected from block number 3, because block number 3 is connected with the previous block hash with block number 2. Now the hash value of the block number 2, data block number 2 is tampered. So for that reason, the hash value of the block number 2 is changed, and for that reason, the block number 2 is disconnected from the chain and chain will be disrupted. So for this reason we call the block, one of the property of the blockchain is the immutability. Immutability means that if you write something in that blockchain, you make a transaction in the blockchain, that is not be tampered. That will not be tampered by others. Okay, so if we see, this is the architecture of the blockchain. So in the architecture of the blockchain, each block contains with the one of the block header part. In the block header part contains with the timestamp, difficulty. What is timestamp? What is difficulty? I will describe later. Now previous blocks hash, Merkle root. That is the type of the each block. What is Merkle root? I describe later. And each block is connected with the next block with the help of previous block hash. And this block hash represent the transaction, all the hash value of all the transactions. That is called the block hash. Through this block hash, this is connected with the next block. This way, the chain of blocks are formed. Okay. So I have told that it acts as a public ledger. Suppose how it works. Suppose here, suppose in the distributed environment, there are 4 persons are present. Each has 100 rupees. Now, one person send the 50 rupees. Suppose Alice send the 50 rupees to the Bob. Now, this is one transaction. Alice broadcasts this transaction to everyone, and every node in this network update their ledger according to this transaction. They first validate that whether this transaction is valid transaction or not. If this transaction is valid transaction, then they put their transaction in this ledger. And Bob also updated its account. Now Bob sends over 30 rupees to Eve. Here also everyone check whether this transaction is the valid transaction or not. Now after the checking that it is valid transaction, it is put in. Now suppose again Alice want to send 80 rupees to J. But when it broadcasts this transaction, it is validated by the every node in the network. They found this transaction is the invalid transaction. So no one put this transaction in their ledger. So this way, the every node has their local ledger in the blockchain. After that, after some amount of that, sometimes of that, one of the node select as a leader node. The procedure for the leader node selection in the blockchain is called the consensus. Okay. So through this leader node, now leader node have their master ledger or global ledger. Now this global ledger should be synchronized with all the local ledger. And their global ledger, they ultimately, the responsibility of the leader node is to create the block. Now the leader node validate all the transactions in the global ledger again and prove this transaction in the block. Okay, and find the hash value of those transactions using the hashing algorithm. Generally, in the blockchain, we are using the SHA-512 hashing algorithm. So I think that you don't have a big idea of the hashing. So I give you the brief idea of the hashing later. Now, so if we say that what are the properties of the blockchain, so you can find the properties of the blockchain. First, it is open, means that everyone can see the transactions of other, but anyone cannot be make any tampered on that transaction. So you can say it is distributed, it is efficient, and and it is permanent, means that when you write something in the blocks of the blockchain, that is not tampered, or that will not be updated. If something written in the blockchain, blocks in the blockchain, that is not updated. So it is called the immutability features of the blockchain. We divide the blockchain into 4 categories, that is public, private, consortium, and hybrid. So public blockchain means that is accessible to all. That blockchain is global in nature. It is accessible to all. Then we call it is the public blockchain. Private means that only it is suppose in a private company, they own their own blockchain. Okay, only it is accessible to that company members. It is not goes to the outside of that. Okay, then we call it is the private blockchain. Okay, consortium and hybrid means that is some part of the blockchain is the public. Hybrid means some part we make a public, some part make the private. Then we call it is the hybrid blockchain. Okay, and consortium blockchain means that it is works as a public blockchain, but some restrictions are given to the leader node. Leader node has some their own restrictions. Now next is the thing is the cryptography. I think that in the blockchain, when we write some transactions, that transactions will be written, that transactions will be encrypted using the cryptographic algorithm. So cryptographic means that crypto means secret, and graphy means writing. Cryptography means the secret writing. So it means that when you make a transaction, it is encrypted by using some key, and when it goes to the receiver end, receiver decrypt this transaction using some key. So this encryption and decryption technique is called the cryptography. Now, blockchain used, there are 2 types of cryptography: public key cryptography and private key cryptography. Public key cryptography means RSA, and private key cryptography means the DES. Okay. Now, in the blockchain, we are using public or private key cryptography. Now, another thing we are using, that is, I have told, the hashing. Hashing means that suppose we give that how many different view size data bits. If by using the hashing algorithm, you convert it into the fixed size form. So it is always one way. Suppose x is the data that is stored in a block. And hx is the hash value of that data. So hx is, we call, suppose we are using the function mod, hx equals to x mod n. So from x we get the hx, but from hs we cannot be able to get the x value. Okay. So if x1 and x2 are two different data, then obviously hx1 and hx2 should be different. And another important thing of the hashing is the avalanche effect. What is avalanche effect? Suppose in the input data, if we write something, you make very small amount of change on that data. Okay. Then totally hash value of that data will be abruptly changed. We call it is the avalanche effect. Okay. So these properties used in the blockchain, because in the block, every data, suppose in each block we stored the data, the hash value of that data is also stored. Now if the data small tampered are done on that data, the hash value of that data will be totally changed, and that block will be disrupted, discontinued from the blockchain, and total blockchain will be destroyed. So for this reason, it is very difficult to tamper the data which are stored in the blockchain. Another thing I show you that in the structure of blockchain, the transactions are stored in the form of a Merkle tree. So here I have shown you, just a minute. This is the Merkle tree. The transactions hashes are stored in the form of the Merkle tree. So how the Merkle tree works? Suppose TX1 one transaction, TX2, TX3, TX. Now hash of transaction 1 is hash 1, transaction 2 is the hash 2. Now same transaction 3 hash is the hash 3, transaction 4 hash is the hash 4. Now both these hashes, hash 1 and hash 2, combinedly make a root of hash 1, 2. Hash 3 and hash 4 combinedly make a root hash 3, 4. Now hash 1, 2 and hash 3, 4 commonly make a root that is called the Merkle root, or we call it is the Merkle hash. So you can find that hash of transaction 1 801 00, hash of transaction 2 is 801. Now we combine these both and we get a 80, that is the hash of 800 plus 801. So same thing in this level 2, we get the hash of transaction 3, that is H10, hash of transaction 4, that is H11. We combine both of these and we get the H1, that is the hash of 10 plus hash of 11. Now combinedly this H0 and H1, we get the hash root or root hash. This root hash is called the Merkle root of Merkle tree. Okay, so this Merkle root should present in the header of the block in the blockchain. And another thing that is present in the blocks in the blockchain, that is a digital signature. Digital signature means that suppose a node make a transaction and send this transaction by signing digitally signing. Means that suppose Alice sent some transactions. Suppose Alice sent 10 rupees to Bob. Okay, this is the Alice want to send 10 rupees to Bob. So when Alice made this transaction, Alice signed this transaction with its own private key. Okay. When it reaches to the Bob can be open if Bob can able to open this transaction with the Alice public key, then Bob can be able to know that Alice is the authorized person. From authorized person, the transaction is coming. So for this reason, the digital signature is required, and every transaction, the digital signature is done. Again, I am saying that what happened, suppose each node in the blockchain has their own private key and the public key. Private key only known by that person, and public key is known to all. Okay. Now, when a node, suppose Alice, wants to send some transaction to Bob, at that moment Alice make a digital signature. How they make digital signature? At first moment, the total message, Alice makes the digest of that message. Digest of that message means that Alice makes the using the hash value, and hash value of that message is called the digest message. Okay, message digest. For hashing purpose, in that case, the Alice may be used the MD5. Now, this digested message of the original message is encrypted with the help of Alice private key, and it is attached with the original transaction. Now, it goes from the Alice to Bob. When it reaches to the Bob decrypt this encrypted form with the Alice public key. Okay, Bob decrypted it from the Alice public key. If Bob can be able to decrypt this digested form with the Alice public key, then Bob acknowledges that it is coming from the authorized Alice. If it is not there, then Bob thinks that it is not coming from the authorized person. So this way, through this digital signature, the Bob and Alice can verify their authentication. Okay, they are verify their authentication. So this digital signature, cryptography, these are all the part of the blockchain. Now another thing is the cryptocurrency. Now next thing is the cryptocurrency. So in the blockchain, we are mainly using blockchain for our transactions. So here the transactions are done not in the form of digital our traditional currency. It is done in the form of digital currency using the cryptographic technique. So for this reason, it is called the cryptocurrency. This cryptocurrency is mainly used in the decentralized environment. It is in the cryptocurrency environment. It is always give the trust-based support, because encryption, decryption, and digital signature, these are all combined when when the data is when any transactions is done through the cryptocurrency. And when we make a cryptocurrency, you make a transaction using the cryptocurrency, that is irreversible, because it is virtually present, it is not physically present. So if you make any transaction using the cryptocurrency, it is irreversible. And cryptocurrency always it is globally acceptable. Globally acceptable means that if we want to buy something from the USA, in the traditional currency, you should have to convert it into the dollar. After that, you have to buy it. But in the case of cryptocurrency, it is acceptable in the global wise. Okay. So in the traditional currency, it is controlled by the nation, because in our currency is controlled by the RBI, this way. But in the cryptocurrency, it is not that. It is not under the control of anyone. So it is used for that reason in the decentralized environment. So different cryptocurrencies, the Bitcoin, Namecoin, Litecoin, PR coin, Monero, and another is the Ethereum. These are the different type of cryptocurrency. Now, one of the oldest cryptocurrency is the Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the public blockchain. It is the components of the of Bitcoin is the one is the full node, another one is the partial node. Node means that in the Bitcoin network, two type of nodes we are using. Full node, who has the full authenticity, full accessibility, and partial nodes are the nodes who has not a huge amount of storage, not a huge amount of processing power, high processing power. Generally, full node are those nodes who used for the who is capable, who are the capable for as a leader, and the partial nodes are not capable of for the leader. They are using for the making a transactions. Lasers which are used in the Bitcoin network, that is public and distributed and decentralized. So in the Bitcoin network, we are using the wallet. Wallet means that where the sender or receiver put their Bitcoin with their with this public and private key. Okay, so each node has their own wallet in the Bitcoin network. And nonce value. Nonce value in the Bitcoin network means that, so I have told you, in the any network there is a part of a leader election in the blockchain. Suppose this leader has the task to create the blocks in the blockchain, this, find the hash value of the blocks of that blockchain, and added the block with the existing blockchain with the previous hash value. This is the task of the leader. So for leader election technique is called the consensus. The leader election technique is called the consensus. In the Bitcoin network, we are using the consensus that is called the POW. So what happened in the POW consensus? In the POW consensus, we give the nodes some puzzle. Okay. So the node who solves the puzzle first, that node will be selected as a leader of the network. And that node make all the transactions, put the transactions in the block. These are done by that node. So for that reason, we are using the nonce value. This nonce is make added some zeros with the puzzle. So it nonce increase the difficulty to solve the puzzle. The difficulty when increasing at that moment means that high computational power or processing power is required to solve the puzzle. So if so through the nonce we determine that how difficult, what is the difficulty level to solve the puzzle. Okay, so I will not go to the details of the POW consensus because time is very short, and because you are not I have give you the brief idea of the blockchain technology here. So it is the POW, the consensus is itself a one chapter. It takes itself the 1 to 2 hours to solve it. So for that reason, I'll give you the brief idea, and I just explain the terms which are related to blockchain. Okay. So how it is working? First, suppose Alice open her Bitcoin wallet and provides the address. Suppose Alice wants to transfer some Bitcoin to Bob. So provides the address of Bob and the amount that Alice wants to transfer. Now, Now this is the first transactions. Okay. Now Alice signed this transaction with its private key. Okay. Alice signed this transaction with its private key. Yeah. Alice signed this transaction with this private key. This private key is used for the authenticity of the Alice. Okay. Now, Alice broadcasts this transaction in the network for validity. Now, it propagates that transactions, and and if the transaction is valid, then this transaction is added to the every node in the network. Okay. Now, one of the node using the POW consensus is selected as a miner. Miners in the term of the blockchain, we say the miners, and it is actually same as the leader in the distributed system. That miner mine the block means that the task of the miner to collect all the validated transaction, put these transactions in the block, produce the hash of that block, and added the block with existing blockchain. This is the task of the miners. Okay. Now, the questions will now this way the Bitcoin network is working. Now the question is that is now of the same way Bob opens his wallet. Bob first checked whether it is validated transaction or not. Means the authenticity of Alice will be checked through its digital signature. Now Bob put this transaction, if it is valid transaction, in its wallet. Now question is that what is the benefit will get by the will be given by the miner? What benefit miner will get? Why the miner will using its computational power for mining the block? The reason is that after successfully mining the block and putting the block in the blockchain, miner will get some Bitcoin. This Bitcoin is the profit of the miner. Okay. For this Bitcoin, many nodes want to make themselves as a miner, because Bitcoin price is highest now, the increasing. So when the Bitcoin price is increasing, at that moment, that miner convert this Bitcoin into the INR. So this way the miner will get the benefit. So when they've successfully mined the block and put the block in the blockchain, after that miner will get some Bitcoin. Okay. Now there is a problem that is called a double spending. What is the double spending? Double spending means that suppose A is the malicious node, suppose. At a time, A send B the 50 Bitcoin and A send C also 50 Bitcoin. Now, how it will be validated? So, A send 50 Bitcoin to B. At first, it is broadcasted. All nodes validate it, put it into their blocks. Okay, now at the same time, suppose A sends C the 50 Bitcoin. So if someone accepted this transaction, someone accepted previous transaction. When the miner will be selected, miner again validate all transactions with their timestamp, because each transaction is accompanied with their timestamp. Then miner make one transaction is valid, put them into the block, and another transaction is made the invalid, and broadcast this invalid transaction to all the nodes. So this way the Bitcoin network prevent the double spend. Now is that when the blockchain structure is like that, now when the new block is coming, where to put the new block? Generally, it is put it into the longest chain. If we put the block into the longest chain, we put it into the longest chain. And this is the summary of the block header. Okay. Now next task is the smart contract. One of the property of the blockchain is the smart contract. What is the smart contract? That is, blockchain always remove the third party during any transactions. How? Suppose it makes a, suppose X and Z. Okay. There are two parties. Suppose this is a party X and this is a party Z. X is the sponsor and Z is the designer. Suppose X sponsors some projects and Z develop that project. But between X and Z, we need a third party that communicate with X and Z, because suppose some conditions are given. Suppose if the first month, the first module of the project is completed, then X gives some money to Z. After that, the second month, second module is completed, then that another slot of money is given to Z. If any module is not completed on that schedule, then their money will be returned back. Suppose this is the conditions. So to look after that condition, we require the third party. And that third party get the money from X as well as Z. So in that case, we require the third party. That third party monitor the X and Z, whether both of them follow the condition or not. Smart contract remove that third party. Here the contract means the software code. Okay, it is the contract is written using the code. And when the code is running in the network, okay, when the first condition is successfully done, automatically the account of X, automatically the amount will be deducted from the account of X and it is credited into the account of Z. Okay, according to the agreement which is written in the software program. Okay, it is done into the automatically. So there is, we do not need any third party, and the contract which is written, that software program, it is written in the distributed environment, and both the parties agree on that contract. After that, its contract is put it in the blockchain, and no one can be able to tamper the contract, because one of the property of the blockchain is the immutability. So this reason it is called the smart contract. And the smart contract, one of the very much important property of the blockchain network. Through the smart contract, one of the things that in the when we buyer and seller, suppose we sell a house and someone wants to buy that house. Between the buyer and seller, there is a third party, that is who make a deed. The deed means that some conditions is written, and on the basis of that condition, ownership will be transferred from the seller to buyer. Take it. So seller to buyer. So this is the property of the smart contract. This property of the smart. So in that case, we need the middleman, third party. We have to give by that third party, and we give some. We buy for this is we need some advocate who design a deed, and both of them, buyer and seller, give some money to this advocate. But if I using the smart contract, then this third party we do not require. and this deed is running automatically, and according to the condition, the currency will be transferred from the buyer account to the seller account. Okay, so this is the beauty of smart contracts. The smart contract platform is Ethereum, Hyperledger, Rootstock, and Ripple. Upon then the Ethereum is very much important. Okay, and now popular now, and it is a public blockchain. And Ethereum is running in using this concept. First, implement the smart contract in the high level language. We are using the remix, and now we compile the remix. Okay, now deploy the contracts in the Ethereum blockchain network and build web application. Okay, for the web application, we are using the React.js. Okay, this way we design our smart contract. Here it is, you can find the send the smart contract, write a smart contract upon the Solidity, you run it as Solidity. Next, we design our front end with the HTML, CSS. Okay, after that, the JS. Now, I deploy the contract, and the contract address sent back to the DApp. Okay, what is DApp? I will discuss. Just as it is the application, decentralized application that connect the smart contract with the user through the application through which the user can be connected with the smart contracts. That is the DApp. Okay. Now that the consensus, it is I have told that there are two the different type of consensus which is mainly used for the leader election. So among them, one is the POW consensus, another one is the POS consensus. POS is the proof of stake. POW is select the leader who has the high computational power, and POS is the proof of stake. Select the leader who has the highest stakeholder. Okay, same than the DPoS, they are a different type of consensus. And some recent research in my blockchain, that is I have done. One, I have used a drone chain based data library for forest fire surveillance using the blockchain. So here just I am, because time is very much less. Hello Bikash. Hello.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I have a very less time now. How much time you have remaining?
And it will be better if you wrap up the main point.
Okay,
We are running out of time.
okay. So this is the okay. So this is the one of the applications that where we can use the blockchain. Suppose here we divide the in my application here we divide it into the three layer: IoT layer, edge layer, and the cloud layer. In the IoT layer, we divide it to different zone, and each zone has a leader drone. Okay, who observe monitor the forest whether the fire is occurred or not, and they make the information to the edge layer. After if any drone finds the fire is occurred, then they inform it into the leader drone. Leader drone then inform it to the edge layer. Edge layer is the LPRS, a local processing unit. And edge layer at first processing that whether this transaction is valid or not. After that, it include it, send it to the cloud server. So here for that reason, edge layer, cloud layer, there are three type of blockchain we are using. One is the node data blockchain that is used for the each drone. Zone leader blockchain, which is used by the leader zone, and another one is the fire alert blockchain, which is used by the fire alert blockchain, which is used by the LPRS or edge layer node. Okay, and they are all the information that which area fire is occurred, how much it is affected, everything will be put in. So why we are using the blockchain here? Because no one can be able to tamper this data. This is one. Another is using is blockchain based cyber secure forest fire. Here the sensor data sends the different value that is related to the fire forest fire. If anyone damper their data, then the wrong information goes to the base station, and then base station cannot get the alarm message that which area the fire is occurred. And so for to prevent that thing, we are again using the blockchain technology here. Okay. And another thing is in the healthcare, where healthcare we are using the health chain. So healthcare also blockchain is very important. Here the user data, doctor data, all are stored in the blockchain. Where is the user blockchain, doctor data in the doctor chain? These are the so so these are the different area where we can use the blockchain technology, and now it is highly popular. I am suggesting all the BTech students or MTech students also that you are making some projects under blockchain technology. There are various types of projects are going on that will be helpful for your career as well as in your off-campus interview also. Because in the campus interview, if anyone find that you know the blockchain technology or your project is on blockchain technology, it is very easy for you to get the job. Okay, because it is nowadays highly popular. Thank you. Hello, Vikas.
Yes, thank you, ma'am. Uh,
Yeah.
uh, uh, Now, if anyone is having any question, he or she may post it here or may send me directly. Uh, Hello, ma'am.
Yes. Am I
One,
audible?
one question is there, ma'am. Uh,
Okay.
what kind of simulation tools can be used?
Okay. You can use the remix ID you can use, and for the DApp either React.js. Okay. We are
Yeah.
using the remix for Ethereum blockchain. For Ethereum blockchain remix, you can also use the Python. Okay.
Okay, using Python, we can code them.
Python remix for the Ethereum blockchain. Yeah.
Hmm.
And Python also you can design blocks in the blockchain.
What are the shortcomings of blockchain, ma'am? Application.
Shortcomings of blockchain, because there are shortcoming is that one thing is that it is the complexity wise it is high, because if your system you have to first you make every transaction is encryption is required. After that you make a digital signature for every transaction. After that you create the block, select the miner, put it all the transaction on the miner. It is computational cost is high comparatively other cryptography algorithm. But obviously it remove the central authority from your system, so cost of the of you also reduce. So that is the shortcoming of blockchain, you can say. Okay. And another thing is that each block has some limitation, but for the case of Ethereum, it will be reduced. For this reason, Ethereum is popular because Bitcoin, the each blocks has some limitation. But the Ethereum is not like that. Yeah, so that is the thing.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Any other question? Yes. So, ma'am, one more question from our head.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
One question is, ma'am, if blockchain is so securely, why governments are not promoting it?
Why? Again say,
Gov-
why?
why governments are not promoting it?
Domains are not.
Government, our government, why our government is not promoting the
Oh,
blockchain?
yes. The reason is that it is the loss of government, na? Because it is not controlled by the RBI. Okay. Now it is globally acceptable. No government
Hmm.
will not get the profit. So for this reason, India make their own cryptocurrency.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes, ma'am.
So that is controlled by the RBI. So
Hmm.
because if the blockchain is highly popular, then many things will not be happened. Okay, and
Mm,
that is government will be lost now.
mm,
So for that reason, they are not promoting it. But in many countries, it is highly popular.
That's why we have heard certain news about controlling this blockchain technology, like this.
Ah,
We have heard the news earlier.
yes,
Mm.
yes, yes, yes.
Ma'am, another question is, are there specialized hardware for implementing blockchain locally?
Specialized hardware? No, there is
Uh,
no
uh,
any type machine. It is
yes.
not special.
Okay. So basically, for blockchain, we don't need a special type of hardware.
Special
We need
using
certain tools
remix
and
side
software. Yes.
tools and
Yes.
software. Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Yes. Okay. Any other question?
And anyone, if the React.js and Remix, if both two things are known by anyone, they can implement the Ethereum blockchain.
Okay.
And okay,
Oh, so I think that's all, ma'am. Thank you so much.
okay,
And now I will deliver the vote of thanks to our distinguished speaker. So thank you so much, ma'am, for giving us
okay.
this precious time in your busy schedule. It really means
Thank
a
you.
really means a lot to us and our students. I would also like to thank our head of the department for all her support to successfully organize this webinar. And thank you everyone for bearing with us during the technical issue. And again, thank you so much, ma'am, for giving us so much insight into the topic in detail. I think the students, either it's a UG, PG, or a PhD student, they might get benefit from this lecture. And
Yes.
we will hope we will see in future also.
Uh, and I
So,
am requesting all the BTech EG students to make a project on this topic. Okay,
yes,
if you
definitely.
are making the project on this topic, then you can be able to know the flavor of this subject. Okay, until and unless you are implementing these things, you
Hmm.
cannot get the flavor of this subject. Okay,
Yes, ma'am. We will try to promote that among our UGS students. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
thank you, thank you.
Madhuri, ma'am.
Okay,
Sir, thank you,
Uh,
sir. Thank you, ma'am. It was so nice
okay, thank you,
listening to you. Thank you,
thank
ma'am.
you, thank you, thank you.
Ma'am, if there is any need, can we connect to you if our students
Yes.
already have received a mail? They're asking for the PPTR research scholars. So,
Okay, okay. I'll give the PPTs.
ma'am has
Okay,
already
I'll
shared.
send.
ma'am,
Yes.
I have shared, but I not send it. Okay, I'll send it. Okay.
Okay,
ma'am,
okay.
thank you, ma'am.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank
Okay.
you, Madhuri, ma'am.
Thank. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Shall we leave, ma'am?
Okay.